All right. Hi, everyone. I'm seeing some familiar names again. So, um, which is great though, because, last but not least, here we go with accounting. And we have a great group of accounting professors on our panel today. So once again, some of you have heard me talk already. I'm Jenna Gaussman. I work in the Career Services Center as a career counselor, and I teach career planning, counseling 12, and been at SMC for 20 years and just absolutely love my job, love getting you as students to where you want to go. So, and once again, I've said it all day, but welcome to SMC. All right, Vicki?
I'm Vicki Rothman, and I'm also a career counselor. And as a faculty member, I oversee our Career Services Center. And I'm not going to tell you guys how long I've been here. I know I look so young, but I've been here, maybe this might be my 31st year. So welcome to SMC. Again, we're so excited to have you here, and we hope that you get a lot out of this, that even though we're remote, which is not the best learning environment, we as faculty members are doing everything we can to make it the best environment for you. And now we'll go ahead and let all of the professors, and we have a couple of students that have already transferred from SMC or that are with us, so I would like everyone to introduce themselves.
So Jenny, and I'll just go down my what I have on my screen. Jenny, how about you're next, Professor Resnick?
Thank you. My name is Jenny Resnick, and I have been teaching at Santa Monica College for 17 and a half years. This is my 18th year. Before then, I taught at Cal State Fullerton for 1 year as a full-time lecturer. And before then, I worked in industry, in the accounting industry, for over 10 years. The first 3 years of my accounting career, I worked as an auditor in one of the big four accounting firms, and which is known now as PricewaterhouseCoopers. Back then, before the merger with Pricewaterhouse, it was Coopers & Lybrand. And I worked as an auditor for 3 years. Thereafter, I worked another 8 and 9 years in accounting operations, managing different types of accounting operations. You name it, I've done it. General accounting, I've managed billing, payroll even, and payables, and inventory. And so it's, and also budgeting. So I've done various types of accounting operations, but thereafter I switched my career into teaching, and I have been teaching ever since. I teach at Santa Monica College. I teach accounting, and in the past 5 years, I started teaching personal finance.
All right, great. Thank you, Jenny. How about Professor Liu? I saw him in there.
Oh, hi. My name is Professor Ming Liu. I've been teaching at Santa Monica for 14 years now. And before that, I used to work at Deloitte, a accounting firm called Deloitte in San Francisco. I was there in San Francisco, but Deloitte is actually a global firm. It's the largest CPA firm in the world. And so some of my clients were included like Peet's Coffee and Tea, Fry's Electronics, Bank of the Orient, Gap Clothing, and so forth. And after that, I worked for a few years at Northrop Grumman, their corporate tax office, and then I got to teach at SMC. So been enjoying it ever since I started.
And you have a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I have an accounting YouTube channel called Accounting is for You. So if you have a chance, I encourage you to search it up on YouTube and watch some of those videos. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Professor Brookins? Oh, you're still muted. Here we go.
Again, let's try it again. Good afternoon. I'm Greg Brookins. I've been here for 21 years, and I'm a professor of accounting 1, basics, principle of accounting, accounting 2, and also the bookkeeping class. Like similar to my colleagues, I've had the opportunities to really do some different things in accounting and been able to really hopefully share some of the different things that you can do. Like Professor Resnick and Professor Liu, I actually spent 2 years in public accounting. I was at Arthur Young and then Ernst & Young. I also worked for 8.5 years in the entertainment industry. So if you have interesting things that you'd like to know about that industry, please feel free to ask. I worked for about 2.5 years in an internal audit. I got to travel around the world doing accounting. I think the only continents I didn't make it to was Antarctica and Africa. And then I also spent about 3.5 years working in the television side. So I worked at the local station here, KTTV, as well as Fox TV Inc. And shortly thereafter came here to Santa Monica College. So please feel free to ask any questions about our department and anything that we can help with in terms of getting a better understanding of accounting. By the time you hear from the other instructors, you'll see how much knowledge that we do have as a department. Thank you for coming.
It's amazing. Sal, how about?
Hello, I'm Sal Vias, and I teach in the business department, which accounting and business are both in the same department. And I'm here just in case you have questions about business besides accounting. Welcome to Santa Monica College.
Thank you, Sal. Professor Rubio?
Hi, how are you, and welcome. I've been teaching at Santa Monica I'm going for my 5th year. I've been teaching since 2005, so that out of those 15 years, 5 have been in Santa Monica. I've taught at Cal State LA, Piers, Mount Sac. I've been teaching all over the place. And my focus has always been, teaching accounting, teaching tax. And that's what I basically do here at Santa Monica. I'm in charge of the tax program. So we prepare students how to interpret and understand the tax world. But I have worn many hats. I started as a staff auditor, became a senior auditor, then eventually I became a controller for the firm. And then I worked, so I was mostly in public accounting most of my professional career. Then I moved into the law firm practice, and I actually became a tax manager there. And I did a lot of managing all the clients and preparing tax returns, business and individual tax returns. So my whole focus has been that, and I've brought that experience here at SMC. And I've also worked at, I think Greg mentioned that he worked in the industry. I also worked for Sony Pictures out of as the participation accountant. So I have a lot of experiences with that as well. And I enjoy teaching and working with students. So any questions you may have, just feel free.
Great, awesome, thank you. Professor Lopez.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my mouse here. Welcome, students. As everybody has kind of seen the underlying kind of theme here about the pathing that folks have, a different pathing. I've been really fortunate to have had that, the accounting background. I've worked in audit as well. Like I share the experience with my good friend there, Professor Liu. I worked at Deloitte as well, right out of undergrad. Actually, I was a controller when I financed my own education. So I was a controller for a couple of small companies before I even graduated from college when I transferred over to CSUN from Valley College. I also worked in entertainment, worked at Fox, Walt Disney for a number of years. So I worked in private accounting, private industry as well, in various roles, including I was a controller. And then I moved into finance in different roles there, moving as a head of finance for a few different organizations, primarily in the restaurant industry. So I spent bulk of my work experiences in the restaurant industry, worked with Pizza Hut, worked with Portals Bakery out here, and Panda Express. Not only in finance roles, but I spent some time actually running regions of restaurants. So here again, I think it shows a little bit of diversity of experience of taking sort of that accounting knowledge. So I've worked in audit, accounting, and finance, and general management. So, and this is the most fun role I've ever had. I've always looked forward to teaching, and so I'm in the best role because I've always wanted to be a coach. Not that I'm not a very athletic person, but I love being in the classroom and teaching. So anybody have any questions, of course, go ahead and reach out to me and any of those career paths that I just mentioned.
All right, and then thank you. And I believe you and I both started full-time last August together, and we're on our tenure track, correct? All right, moving on. So do we have a student who has
We have Eduardo and George have already both transferred, but transferred from SMC.
All right, Eduardo, you want to tell us like where you started and sort of what you're majoring in accounting, I'm assuming, but tell us just quickly a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Eduardo Gutierrez. I was recently a student at SMC. I just transferred like almost 2 years ago. I had the luck of being a student of Professor Lu and Professor Brookings, so I took Accounting 1 and Accounting 2 with them. I transferred to USC. It's my senior year in USC, obviously majoring in accounting. It's been a great ride. If you have any questions about anything related to studying accounting or the major or transferring, just let me know. And I'm lucky to have accepted a full-time offer to join Ernst & Young, which is a Big Four accounting firm. So let me know if you have any questions.
Congratulations. That's amazing. That is great. And is it George Young? Are you also one of our SMC alumni?
Yes, I am. My name is George Young. I was a student at SMC a few years back. I took Professor Nault for Accounting 1, who recently retired. And I had Professor Lu for Accounting 2. Since then, I've gone on to transfer to Cal State Northridge, where I was able to participate in internships with Ernst & Young as well as RSM. And I have received a full-time offer with EY for the tax practice starting next summer.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Wow. So you guys, the one thing from a career counseling perspective, are you hearing that our alumni are receiving their full-time offers now, even though they're almost a whole year out? So accounting is a little unique that way. Consulting, the Big Fours, they do their recruitment a little bit earlier. So. And
then Jenna, one more, Aileen has also joined us.
Oh, Eileen, can you just do a quick introduction of what you teach and how long you've been at SMC? I see her. Eileen?
Everyone, oops. Hi, my name is Eileen Huang. I teach accounting. I've been here for 12 years.
Yes. And I met Eileen at her first VIP welcome day.
We did. We sat at the same table. I know.
12 years ago. So
12 years ago. It was at the Broad Stage, I think.
Yeah, and I think you have entertainment background as far as in accounting. You worked for Warner Brothers, I believe.
I did. I worked for Warner Brothers. I was the director of cash budgeting, and I was an accounting manager at the Walt Disney Company. I was director of production finance at HBO. So my accounting experience for companies are all in the entertainment industry here in SoCal. I was an auditor at Ernst & Young, so congratulations, George, for your offer with E&Y. E&Y is a great company. You should definitely go with E&Y. So anyway, I did my CPA with E&Y, and I did business consulting with Anderson Consulting. Now it's called Accenture, but yeah. I'm dating myself. Okay, yeah, anyway, with Accenture. Yes, way back, yes.
All right, well, thank you. So welcome, everyone, and really, this is a great sampling. Look at the variety. We have students here today. We have professors from all different industries. So let me just go through the slide deck really quickly. And I might actually ask the professors to sort of jump in on, especially when we come to some of the events that you host, and then we'll open it to Q&A. So let's see if we can go through this. You guys kind of saw this during their introduction, so we're going to tell you a little bit about the classes. Remember to come see academic counseling and also career counseling. We're kind of that support and that foundation for you in your area of discipline. So we can definitely help you figure out your courses that would be good for you. If you want a Bachelor's of Science in Accounting, there's only a very few amount of schools in California that offer that Bachelor of Science in Accounting. Lots of schools offer a business administration degree with an emphasis in accounting, but so there's a lot of nuances there that we can assist you with in kind of identifying what's best for you. Career counseling, you can come meet with a career counselor. Vicki, how many do we have? How many career counselors do we have?
10.
10. And what does a career counselor do that's different than an academic counselor?
Are you asking me?
I am asking you.
So you guys, we're more holistic. We want to know who you are, where you come from, where's your background, what are you thinking about, what drives you, what do you have passions for, what do you want out of your career. So we talk more holistically about how do you choose a major, what does a major get you, what kinds of careers can you do, what are the pathways to it, how do you pivot, So we're there for everything around career, internships, employment, resume, how do you dress, everything.
Yeah. So that's where we're a little bit different than the academic, but we partner really well with them. And then along with the business department. So kind of really keep that in mind, that you should not just access one of these departments, but really access both of them. So what do we offer as far as our degrees and certificates at Santa Monica College? We have AS in accounting. We have a certificate of achievement for staff accountant, certificate of achievement CPA track candidate, which you do need to already have a bachelor's degree, correct? My professors, I believe when I was doing my research, you need to have a bachelor's degree already for the CPA track. But it kind of
That's correct.
What happens?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. And what happens, the reason why is because it's preparing you for the California CPA exam, which requires a certain amount of business and accounting units. But it's amazing. Are we one of the only community colleges that offers this? Anyone? Sal?
We are among the few.
Yeah, Ming would be able to answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a very unique program that we offer. So if you have any friends that have bachelor's degree already and they want to get their CPA, send them to us. We also have a department certificate in business bookkeeping. The difference between certificate of achievement that will go on your transcript, it's a certain amount of units depending upon what the track is. So it all kind of depends, that it varies. Department certificate is usually between 8 and 12 units. It's just kind of like an enhancement of your skills. So let's say I was an economics major, but I just really wanted to get a part-time job in bookkeeping and working for a small business. I might go do a department certificate to kind of enhance my skill set. So that's sort of oftentimes how that's used. Or I have my bachelor's degree in business, but I never took enough accounting classes or bookkeeping, and so I might take this department certificate. So it's kind of utilized as this very much a foundational, increasing your skill set and sort of leveling up possibly, in your workplace. All right, we kind of talked about the academic planning, the different potential career options with accounting. Of course, a treasurer, a controller, which would be a CFO, and you can also, they're kind of intertwined depending upon the size of the company. You can also become a financial manager. Of course, you can become an accountant. To become an accountant, though, you will need a bachelor's degree, as you see there. So we don't offer bachelor's degrees at SMC. You will need to transfer. That's why you're talking to a career counselor and academic to help you navigate those nuances. And the students that are on here will tell you it's not easy, is it? It's like there is some complexity to it. So really making sure you're seeking out the expert's advice. Auditors, many of our professors mentioned that they were auditors at some of the Big Four auditing companies. And if you're not sure what the Big Four is, Google it. So I encourage you, if you're really interested in accounting and even business, because they do management consulting, type in Big Four and they will come up. All right, professors, let's see if we can go through them. Ernst & Young, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, of course. I have one of my best friends works at Deloitte, and what's the fourth one?
KPMG.
KPMG. So there we go. See, there was the test. So, anyways, but definitely look into that. Financial analyst, and remember, I want you to think about this, you guys. Even our education, we have a finance department at SMC, and every company has a finance department. So your opportunities, it's like you might come meet with a career counselor and really identify the industry that you want to work in. Many of our professors worked in accounting and entertainment. That is a completely different type of industry than if you're working for Johnson & Johnson medical device. Because in entertainment and music, you have something called a royalty, correct? So there's a whole different type of accounting and taxes and how people get paid and bonus structures. So you really need to figure out your niche and what industry excites you and where do you want to where do you want to crunch those numbers and where do you want to go be a strategist on that. Of course, tax preparers. You might want to open up your own CPA or work for a CPA firm and do do commercial and private tax. So you can do it for companies and you can do it for individuals. And then payroll clerks, this kind of falls under HR, but really over the years it kind of has been placed under finance and accounting. So you're doing the payroll for the company each week. All right, so program highlights. Do I have a professor that would like to explain the E&Y Global Perspectives Conference? Professor Liu, I think I got the email from you originally on this one. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, maybe George, do you want to talk about that? Are you more familiar since you've been with E&Y? Did you attend the Global Perspectives Conference? George?
I didn't actually attend it, but I was in the same hotel that it was being hosted in. The Global Perspectives Conference is for students that are graduating, that have 3 summers remaining before they graduate. So students that are coming to the end of their freshman year. And it's a way to familiarize yourself with the firm, get a chance to meet people. And it's a really good way to kind of explore public accounting without having any prior knowledge as to what it means to work in public accounting. You don't need to have a service line pre-selected. You don't even need to know what a service line is. They're really just looking for students that have strong academic performance with an interest in public accounting. And the way that the conference is set up now, you can actually receive an internship from the conference. So, kind of put yourself in position to be in the pipeline of the firm as early as the end of your freshman year.
George, where was this held at? Was it in Orlando the last time it was held?
No, when the last time it was held physically, it was in Dallas, I believe.
Okay. So I just want to, for the students here who are new to the accounting arena, so we mentioned there's these 4 large CPA firms, right? The big 4 firms, they have offices globally. So one of the firms Ernst & Young does is that they're trying to identify talented minority students as early as possible. So as George mentioned, after your freshman year, while you're a freshman, you can apply for this. And then the summer, right after your freshman year, if they like you, right, if you're doing well in your classes, they will literally fly you to, the last time they did it was in Dallas, sometimes it's in some other cities. They'll fly you, you'll stay in a 4 or 5-star hotel, and they'll basically share with you what are all the opportunities in accounting, because they really want you to develop and grow, and ultimately they want you to work for them. So it's really, really exciting. And, I encourage you to visit that website later on where you're, during the year, and talk to your professors, right? And I really encourage you to apply for that program.
So in conjunction with what George and Professor Liu are saying, this is where the Career Center I have done mini resumes for students that have applied to this program as well. And so we kind of craft your resume, make it like an executive professional resume, a cover letter. I've helped.
Uh-oh. She froze. Jen has helped many students apply and craft their. Jenna, you froze you froze when you said I've helped many students apply.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. There's a high traffic internet where I'm sitting right now. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, we craft resumes, cover letters. We help you figure out how to dress for this presentation, for your interview, how to put your best foot forward, how to do your LinkedIn. So we really do partner. And if you sign up for this, smc.edu, hire SMC, we will push to our business and our accounting majors these key positions, these key events that come out, and you'll get an email from us. And we are targeting you so that you know about it and that you don't have to always seek out. Your professors are amazing at getting that information out, but sometimes if you sign up here as well, you'll get some of those really plum key positions. So, and Professor, or any of the professors, I do believe there's a day conference last April, a year ago, April. One of my students went to in downtown LA. So Ernst & Young is really being assertive, and I love their marketing on this. I love the fact that they're really trying to move forward with getting, students, minority students into the accounting realm. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Shark Tank. Anyone feel confident in talking about Shark Tank each year? And I guess we are going to, I talked to Sedke today, and he is, looks like we are doing it remote. And it literally is Shark Tank entrepreneurs that will come onto our campus and talk about their business ideas and how they did it and where they came from, and it gives their history. So once again, keep an eye out for those bulletins that come through your email, and you'll have some familiarity with Shark Tank. Did any other professors attended, or do you want to say anything about Shark Tank before I move on?
Well, nope. I attended the last one, and it was great. So, yeah, if any of you watch Shark Tank, we actually invite, a few of the winners, and as well as some of the people who didn't get an offer on the tank to come and share their experiences. And afterwards, they usually stick around and chat with students and provide them some tips on how to be entrepreneurs as well. So when the time comes, make sure to definitely check it out. It's well worth your time.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. Thank you.
Hey, Jenna G.
What?
One of the students is asking for the faculty or us to give them feedback on what universities or colleges in California do we recommend to transfer to after SMC to become an accountant.
So with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting, what do our professors say? What are some of your favorite schools in California? And also maybe, in California.
Well, I mean, Southern Cal, if you're going to Southern Cal, I mean, the top schools, I would say, if you're looking from academic and prestige perspective, would say, I'm going to say CSUN. I just saw my professor Brookins he's looking at it, but he's an SC grad. But yeah, I would say USC, Cal State Northridge is good. You get a bang for your buck. I'm a graduate from Cal State Northridge. Loyola's strong, and Loyola has a pretty good strong program. I think another school that's pretty strong here locally, but it's expensive too. It's private. California Lutheran has a pretty strong program. And then you look at the schools up north, right? Now, one thing I would say, just quickly too, I know that Jenna, you mentioned about not having the accounting degree. UCLA is well respected by the Big Four, even though they may not have an accounting degree. You can graduate with an economics degree, but you can take your accounting classes there, get the fulfillment. Obviously, if you transfer from here, you'll be fine as well. But
you can take our CPA track.
That's what I'm thinking.
But they are actually well respected. And in fact, I just saw an article recently that was published that said what are the schools that develop the most CPA partners at the public accounting firms. And in fact, UCLA was ranked in the top 10.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, I was actually a bit surprised to see that, but UCLA was actually ranked in the top 10. So.
Can I just add this too, Jenna? I would just encourage you to do your homework. Often I ask students, what do they envision themselves doing? And if you think you're going to be here in Southern California, CSUN, all of the places that Enrique mentioned are absolutely great choices. If you think you're going to be traveling, if you think you want to live outside of Los Angeles or even around the world, then maybe you do look at USC, you look at Berkeley, you look at UCLA's, and different types of universities that have more of a world brand as well.
Right.
And I also think that a lot of people just like to focus on the UCs. I think most of the Cal State system has a very good accounting programs. Mm-hmm. They do specialize. They do have emphasis on that. I graduated from LA, and I'm a CPA, and I had a good profession. So it really depends on the person who's trying to apply that. Long Beach, Cal State Long Beach has a very good program as well. And CSUN is very close to Santa Monica, so you hear that a lot. But I think Long Beach, Los Angeles, they have a very good program in accounting. And I think most people overlooked the Cal State system, but I think to me they have the best accounting programs than some of the UCs. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not saying anything.
I want to add something about your choice of schools. So everyone, when you're looking for which program you want to enter to pursue your accounting, one thing that you may also think about is how much student loan can you carry to support that accounting education. I mean, we're going through a pandemic and we're going through financial difficulties. And one thing that's very important for you is to look into financial wellness for yourself when you, as a student, and at the time when you graduate. So if you overload yourself with heavy student loans, you're going to suffer when you graduate from that program. Even though I came out of USC, I got my MBA from USC, but I greatly appreciate how much I learned from the program. But I have to admit that USC is on the high side when it comes to tuition. So if you look at the kind of programs that all these great faculty have recommended, USC is on the higher side. The UC system, the UC schools are going to be in the medium level. Cal State programs, there are great Cal State programs, and they are on the lower end of the tuition range. So I think that one thing that you may want to do for yourself is to figure out what kind of career track you want to pursue, and what is the starting salary, and how much will you be earning when you graduate in accounting, and then backtrack into how much do you think you can afford to pay each month out of your paycheck, out of your take-home pay, and then you figure out how big a student loan that you can carry during your next 2 years of accounting education, and that might be a good way to approach it.
It's a great advice, Jenny. Thank you. So we're almost done with the deck, and then be thinking of some other questions. So one of the other things we do in November, keep an eye out for this. We will be doing a Cool Careers. We bring professionals from all over, and now because of remote, we have access maybe to New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, some professionals, but we bring individuals from companies to talk about their career and their track and what their major was and their advice to you. So that's awesome. Who would like to talk about the SMC Accounting Diversity Conference, which is usually an annual event?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So the Accounting Diversity Conference was something that I started about 2 or 3 years ago, and that's because there's an organization called the AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. What they do is they host an annual conference where they invite the top African American Latino students to attend, and at that event they get to network with top professionals from around from the top firms around the country. They also get to attend workshop, resume writing, all these events. And so when I went to those, I felt, well, that's great, but what about an average student, right? What about somebody who's not a minority student? So I took that concept and I came back when I applied that at SMC. So we do the same thing. We invite the top firms, the top professionals to come and speak. And also I invite former students who are now very successful, such as George and Eduardo. I'm very thankful that they've come back each year to come share their experiences as well and basically empower students to be successful, right? Just studying hard is not enough, but studying smart, getting to know the right people will take you far in life. So we do this every single year. With COVID-19, we're probably going to do it online this year. So I encourage you, when you start taking your accounting classes, to keep an eye out for that. Your professor will let you know about that event. Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Professor Liu. And then we also have each annually we have a VITA event. Anyone want to quickly do a 30-second overall pass of what the VITA event is? It's really cool because we're offering a tax preparation for.
This one is an event that we have every tax season, and we most of them is run by students from my classes, from my tax classes. They run and they prepared free tax returns for other students, for the community, and this is a class in itself, so they would have to register to participate. But before all that, they would have to go through a whole training just to be able to prepare tax returns and use software. And the Accounting 17 that I see listed there is one of the best classes, because that one you will learn how to prepare tax returns from beginning to end. And that would feed into, those students are the ones that feed into to volunteering into this program and assist in preparing tax returns. So I manage this program, and every time my students who, after they take it, they feel very comfortable in preparing tax returns and even entering the tax profession. So if they want to know more information about this, please contact me. I did see that we did miss is a brand new certificate of achievement in small business tax practice. And that one is if somebody wants, because most people think that I have to be a CPA for me to sign tax returns. And the bottom line is that no, you don't. You just have to be registered to prepare tax returns. So we go through that whole process, which is the purpose of Accounting 17. And then at the end, we did create a whole certificate. So people who want to open their own tax practice, a small tax practice, and run with it, we did that certificate as well. So for me, some students tell me that they don't want to go into tax, but they're working in retail. So I tell them, I said, get the education, get more money while you're in school. You become a tax preparer. You earn more money while you go to school. And this way you don't have to deal with retail or food chains or anything. You become just work seasonal, and you will get more money than if you work a whole year working in retail. I said, so just use it as a stepping stone, and into the profession or into just any business position. I think they would love it. Most people that I know, if you put the word that you worked or you volunteer in the VITA program, they love you. They know that you've been dealing with customers, you've been dealing with people, you've been preparing tax returns. So they know that you have what it takes. So most of the times they put you right on top of the list for interviews. And I always tell people just join just for the sake of putting it in your resume. Yeah. But it is a great program. If they want more information, just let me know and I'll.
Yeah. So Professor Rubio's email is right there. It's last name _Caesar@smc.edu. Also, just really quickly, you probably recommend for students to apply for this as they're going into their second year, correct?
Correct.
So kind of get your grounding, get your feet wet a little bit, take Accounting 17, take Accounting 1 and 2, sort of take some econ classes, get to know SMC a little bit, get that commitment to accounting. And then this would be something amazing to do your second year while you're at SMC.
Correct.
So let's see. Well, hey, I'm emailing you right now. So let's see here. I just lost my slide deck. All right. Program. There's the YouTube channel that we talked about. I don't know if you knew, Professor Lou, that this was in part of my slide deck. So, and then CPA licensure, we already talked about this. You do need a bachelor's degree, but we have that CPA track. We have lots of information and resources on how to get ready and prepared for the CPA exam, something you can even be starting now as freshmen, first-year students. So we have those resources. Clubs, we have an SMC Accounting Society. We have the Rotaract Business Club, Economics Club. The Student Club website is right here. Actually, I'll put it in the chat in just a minute. We have an entrepreneurship, and then PTK is an honor society. So many of my business and accounting students belong to that one. It's more it's more diversified. It's more of around GPA, but the clubs are critical. My students on this group, Georgia and Eduardo, did you join any clubs, and what do you see as the benefits of being part of a club?
Yeah, so I can go for that. Actually, when I was in SMC, I was part of PTK, and I was lucky that when I came into SMC, I met a friend. His name is Jonathan, and he founded the entrepreneurship club. He was the founder of the club.
Right.
So after he transferred, I ended up being the vice president of it, and basically I was involved in clubs all my time in SMC. I think the greatest thing about it is I made friends that are still my friends today, and actually it's a really fun way to interact and get knowledge from different kind of things around us, because when I came to SMC, I knew nothing about accounting or Big Four or how to work the finance industry. So many of the people joining these clubs not only become your friends and it's fun, but they also have a lot of knowledge and they're working hard towards doing something within their professional lives.
Right. And I know from hearing from students, it really gets you into the SMC community, right? And it helps build the friends, and it just helps also you know, it helps you kind of get networked. It helps you get connections. Every club has a faculty, at least one, if not two or three faculty leaders. So you get to know your faculty leaders as well. So as soon as I'm stop sharing my screen, I'll put the link to all the club lists, and so you guys can kind of go find that. And I saw that the Rotaract Business Club was already, a link was put out for that. So typically when you're scheduling your classes, another secret, most clubs meet 11:15 to 12:35 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That I think a lot of the clubs are keeping to that for even remote. But as you're scheduling your classes moving forward, try to keep that Tuesday, Thursday workshop window open. You know, just try to keep that 11:15 to 12:35 time slot open. Years ago, those of us that have been here forever. Years ago, we used to never even offer, you know, we didn't even have classes between 11:15 and 12:35. So, but we do now. All right, there we go. We're done with the slide deck. So we have a lot of different things within business, as you can see there, which many of you have come to. But we do have a little bit of time, not much, but we do have a little bit of time. So what questions do we have from the students? Or who would you guys like to hear from, those of you that are joining us right now?
Actually, I have a question for George and Eduardo, as well as Professor Wang. What do you think the keys are for the students who are coming in for the first time? What are the keys to success your first semester at SMC?
Great question.
So I would say for sure, I know the first accounting class I ever took was with Professor Resnick, and I didn't make it past the third week in her class. I missed a couple classes. I don't know if she remembers this. I missed a few classes early, and I showed up one day, and she sat me down in her office and told me that it would be a disservice to me to allow me to finish the semester in her class because I wouldn't do well. And I didn't really understand what she meant at the time, and I was kind of upset about it. And just to bring it full circle, when I sat through Professor Null's class, college is so much different than high school. And it's easy to think that it won't be the case at a community college, but it moves so fast. And the very second you fall behind, it's so hard to catch up. And that was essentially what Professor Resnick was letting me know, was that I had missed too many classes and I wouldn't be able to catch up. So I would say showing up to class is a big deal. Even if you don't take notes, even if you don't feel like you're 100% engaged, it's so important to just be there. And it's also very important to understand that I think there's a ratio, I don't know exactly what it is, but for every 1 hour that you sit in that class, you should be studying outside of class for at least 2 to 3 hours. It really depends on the type of student you are and how quickly you grasp things. But there's a lot of work that needs to be put into these accounting courses. Accounting is so dense and it's so technical. And a lot of times, you know, you can be fooled in the class because a single topic doesn't seem very complicated, but you get an exam that has 13 or 14 very simple concepts on it and you just get overwhelmed. So don't underestimate the difficulty of the coursework and put some work into it. And if you do those things, you definitely will come out on top.
Yeah. Great advice. Eduardo, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I think George's advice on how serious to take classes, it's important and studying. But also I would say the first semester I came to SMC, either I was lucky or something, because I met a lot of people that are my good friends today. So another thing to be successful, I think, in community college is build your community inside the college. Like get acquainted with people that is like holding interest similar to you, trying to do things that are like interesting to you too. And also, it should be a fun process. That's what I'm trying to say. It should be a fun process. But another really important thing is, if you have an idea of where you want to go, start asking counselors and friends about which classes to take and how to map out your time in SMC. It's important to know how to go each semester, how to plan.
No, that's great advice. Anything else as wrapping up here? Any other words of wisdom from the professors or from the students that?
Yeah, Jenna.
Yeah.
I want to commend the 7 students who are here today, and I think as a new student coming into SMC, the fact that you sign up for this and you're here and you show up, that shows to me you're highly motivated and you're super organized and you're committed to your education at SMC. So just keep that level of enthusiasm and just maintain that high level of motivation as you progress through your semester. I mean, you know, sometimes things will get hard and accounting is tough and you do need to put in a lot of hours, but just keep that motivation up and keep that enthusiasm. And when I was going through it, I went to community college as well. I went to PCC and then transferred to UC Berkeley. And throughout that process, I just had that end goal in mind that, you know, I was at the library studying and just have that goal in mind where you want to end up. And that's what kept me going. And I know this is, I mean, I'm kind of speaking to the choir. And the fact that 7 of you are here listening to all of us on a Friday afternoon shows you're very motivated. You just keep that up. And the other thing I was going to say, as far as which college to go to for an accounting program, I tell my students this, and I believe all 7 of you are probably the same way. If you're a star, you're going to shine everywhere you go or anywhere you go. So the Cal States have the professors listed, the UCs, they all have some type of business, accounting, or econ program. I was a business major. I didn't think I was going to go into accounting. My first job was a business consultant, but I found that accounting actually gave me so many options, so many choices. So then later on, I took a bunch of accounting courses when I was doing my business administration bachelor's degree at Berkeley. So, you know, I think in addition to what Jenny said about, Professor Resnick said about the affordability factor, look into what kind of support will you receive from the Career Center. Obviously, we have great counselors here, but, you know, when you're trying to decide that job, once you transfer, you're going to end up at a job, and that's what you're going to do for 50 hours, 60 hours, 45 hours. What kind of resources, what kind of support will you receive from the university in terms of career counseling and career support? And the companies that you want to go work with, do they even recruit at that college? Right. I know one of my students transferred to UC Berkeley, and she really wanted to work at Google. And Google actually doesn't recruit for accounting at UC Berkeley. I did not know that, but she was so disappointed to find out about that. So really reach out to the career centers as you're going through your college selection. But before you're even there, I tell my students, I tell my kids this, you don't have any options until they want you. So right now, make yourself as good, as valuable as possible. Stay motivated, get that GPA high. I mean, GPA is one thing they definitely look at. Get a good GPA. So make yourself so valuable and apply to the Cal States, to the UCs that are affordable, that fit within your budget and your lifestyle. And then once they accept you, then you're in the position to choose, and then you can check out their career centers, and then you're in the position of more freedom. So, but before you're there, you got to make yourself good and make yourself valuable so everybody wants you. And to do that is doing exactly what you're doing today by showing up. So thank you so much for being here.
Wow, I think that was the wrap up of the that was a great message. That was awesome, Eileen. So I'm going to give you one career counseling tip for the 7 students. If you take any of these professors' classes in the fall or spring, you go up right after class or after, you know, in the Zoom meeting, and you say, hey, I saw you that Friday on August 28th. I was one of those students that attended that Welcome Week information session. And right then, that professor will be like, okay, I remember that. I remember that.
Points and extra credit.
All right, you guys, it's 10 to 5. So is there anyone else want to say anything? Or you can see our accounting department is so robust. We have so many opportunities and such amazing professors. Anyone else want to say anything and to take us home? And then we'll wrap up and let everyone start their weekend.
No, I think Eileen took us home.
I think so too.
Well, I show up late, so I had to make it up for being late.
Yeah.
Oh, taking us home.
Okay. All right, you guys. Then, if you have any questions, like you said, you can find all of our contact information on SMC's website, and do not be afraid to ask questions also. So welcome to SMC. We are thrilled that you have chosen our school. We know you guys have choices. We will all tell you, all of us on this Zoom call, we will tell you you pick the best. We are the best. So Vicki, any last words? And we'll sign off.
Everyone have a good weekend, and we'll see all of you on Zoom this next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great semester.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Business department. Goodbye.